All right, when we talk about discrimination, okay, that was probably my most cold opening I've ever done. I just pushed the button and started talking. I usually give a nice pan around to see the park that I'm in. All right, now that we're off to the right start. When we talk about discrimination, okay, we're thinking about is we're sort of choosing, preferring one group over another group, right? Obviously, discrimination, just quick intro. So, you know, what are some examples and what do we try to do about those examples? And then secret hint, we're gonna get into why those don't work and what we should actually do to handle the presence of discrimination in the world. So like, what's an example of discrimination is, you know, we'll do concert tickets and housing prices. Is, you know, there's 10 million people who wanna go see a Taylor Swift concert. Not everyone is gonna get to go. So, you know, we sell concert tickets at a certain price. You know, same thing with New York City is everyone in the world would love to live in the greatest city in the world, but we don't have 8 billion domiciles in New York City, so some people are gonna get cut. So we do price discrimination. We raise the prices of units. We let people bid up on those prices. If I'm willing to pay more, then the landlord's gonna raise rent and they can either get out or pay what I'm willing to pay. And that's the current situation. We do price discrimination. Price discrimination. Remember that word discrimination is the theme of our video. And that price discrimination is everywhere. That's how we allocate scarce resources right now. And like any form of discrimination, you know, there's a contingent of people reasonably who want to fight it. We don't want discrimination. We want everyone to have everything. Which, you know, sounds naive when I say it, but, you know, it's you know, spoiler alert, getting to the criticism I'm going to have of these proposed solutions. But we see discrimination, we say, okay, I don't like discrimination, what can we do about it? Well, let's try rent control, okay? Or let's try price controls on tickets. They're the same thing. So we take an apartment and we say, well, this apartment, you know, 1 in 10 apartments, you only pay 1/10, right? So now, sure, we have price discrimination on some. I'm just going to focus on the rent control example, just so I'm not bouncing between two examples as we go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Or actually, let me do concert tickets. I think it's a more pure, clean example, because apartments obviously is more complicated. It's housing, you know, you can build more units. Concert tickets, nice and simple. There's a concert this weekend. So what do you want to do? You want to stop price discrimination. You're Taylor Swift. You're like, oh, well, I want my poor fans to be able to go too. I don't want, you know, it's not fair that they don't have a chance to go. So let's fix that. Let's set our tickets to $400 per ticket, which is true. That's what happened for the Eras Tour. Those tickets were scalped and sold at $4,000. So it didn't work, but let's pretend it did. She has a machine that, you know, checks your ID, make sure you can't be scalped. Okay, so anyway, what is the situation here? Let's say it works. Let's grant that it works. Forget about arguments about, oh, it can't work, it can't work, it can't work. Let's talk ideals. Let's say it does work. She sets the tickets to 400 and they go for 400. Have we succeeded in our quest to remove discrimination? Well, we've removed price discrimination, but did all million people who want to go to the concert get one of those $400 tickets? No, because what we've added in is a new kind of discrimination. Now we're doing like luck discrimination or first come first serve. You know, let's just say it's a roll of the dice just to make it easier. You can also imagine, you know, I'm not going to keep going back, or maybe I will. But rent control works the same way. It's a roll of the dice. Some people get it, some people don't. It's like, okay, well, we did roll the dice discrimination instead of price discrimination. Now, did we help with our problem? Is this better or is it worse? And there's a few ways we can analyze this. Some people will say, well, it's better because it gives everyone a small chance. And what they mean by that is when there's price discrimination, there are, let's say, just easy example, there's 100 tickets. The 100 people of the 1,000 people who want to go, the 100 who are willing to pay more have a 100% chance of getting into the concert. And the 900 people who are not willing to pay the most have a 0% chance. And when we give random discrimination instead of price discrimination, what we do is we take that 100 and we squash it so everyone has, whatever it is, a 10% chance of getting these tickets. So that feels a little more quote unquote fair. It feels like we're taking an excess from a small minority, right? And we're redistributing it so that everyone has more. 90% of people benefit. That's democratic. That's the benefit there is the argument in favor. Okay, what is the argument against? Let's think about this for a second, right? There's a couple of things that are going wrong here. is like, who do we want to get the tickets? If we can hand select with the hand of God, right? What would our perfect system look like? Probably not random, right? Who would Taylor Swift want to see the tickets? She's doing this for a reason. She says she wants her biggest fans who love her, who wake up every morning thinking Taylor Swift, the real Swifties, the real core, that's who she wants to go. And let's, forget about your solution. Let's go with Taylor's. I think that's the one that we want. Let's say we all agree. We want the biggest Taylor Swift fans to go. Okay, well, how do we find the biggest Taylor Swift fans? Oh, like they're getting priced out. We don't want them to get priced out. They're pricing out the real fans, and it's all these rich people. It's like, well, there could be rich fans too, but that's kind of beside the point. Maybe they still get lucky. They still have their chance at their tickets. The thing that's concerning is that let's assume first that everyone's making the same amount of money. Well, if we're all making relatively the same amount of money, right? And I'm willing to pay $4,000 and you're willing to pay $400 for your ticket, we know who the bigger fan is. It's the one who's willing to sacrifice more, the person who's willing to work an extra shift, the person who's willing to put more hours of their life that they spent converting to work to go to that concert, right? When we do price discrimination, when we do random discrimination, let's call it, we end up discriminating against them, against, that person. Okay, so we agree, like, if everyone's making the same amount, it's like, well, Ryan, that's not who we're worried about, Ryan. We're worried about the fail sons. We're worried about the rich. The rich. We're worried about the rich. The problem here is that when people think about the rich, they think of, millionaires who inherited tons of money and they've never worked a day in their lives, and that's it. I think it kind of feels that way, right? But like, I hate to break the news, guys, but like, if you look at rich people, do you guys know any rich people? I don't know what to say. Like, the number of people who have never worked a day in their lives and have millions of dollars, it's like, yeah, it sticks out in your head because it's annoying. Like, people know that guy. The unworthy heir is what we'll call him, or them, or her. We're woke, okay? But yeah, women can be millionaire fail sons too, okay? I'm not trying to take that away from you guys. Woman power, respect. But that's just not how, like, most rich people got there, right? Like, like, a lot, like, and then, okay, forget about that too. There's two arguments, and I'm trying to untangle them in my head as I'm talking. Argument number one is that when you have an auditorium with 10,000 seats, like, I'm sorry, but Elon Musk is not going to buy out 10,000 seats, and he's not going to attend every single Taylor Swift concert, right? You're going to quickly finish your list. Maybe like the front row box office seats, you actually have this problem where the hyper rich are completely buying out and they don't really care. Ooh, the front row Taylor Swifties. Oh, that's a cool social status thing. I'll do that, right? Maybe for like the 100 most premium seats, but there aren't enough hyper rich people that are going to buy out all these $4,000 concert seats. You need the masses. Like, we're talking about like the top 0.1%, and then specifically people who go to Taylor Swift fans, but who aren't gigantic Taylor Swift fans. I don't know. So that's like a big thing to contend with, is that like most of the people who are doing this price discrimination thing are just normal people. Like, $4,000 is like not a crazy amount if it's your number one hobby. If it's like your number one thing in life, like, think about someone whose number one thing in life is like cars. That motherfucker is going to spend, right? Like $100,000, like all their money. Like, it doesn't matter however much they're making, all of it's going into the fucking cars. If their hobby is like car related, like they're putting money into the fucking cars, right? I think anything is kind of like that. Like, if it's travel, you're going to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on travel. $4,000 for like the most premium tickets, like the floor tickets to the Eras tour. That's like a very reasonable amount for like a upper middle class American. Like, I know people hallucinate that there's no such thing as a upper middle class American, but like, that is what the average American experience is like, and that's what people are willing to pay. Like, that's the person who's paying that, right? Like, it's mostly just normal kind of people who really care about it. Like, remember when we first started the example, Taylor Swift's biggest fans. So anyway, that's a very, very, very roundabout way of making argument number one. I know I kind of went around a lot there. I'll try to speed things up because this is getting to a longer video, but argument number two is that rich people are just better. what can I say? Yeah, the cat's out of the bag, guys. Rich people deserve it more. You didn't realize that? Yeah, I'm making this argument unironically, is that when people think of rich people, and I was touching on this earlier and then I went back and forth, but like they think about the fail son, but most rich people went to school when the other person didn't. Most rich people worked the extra shift when the other person didn't. Most rich people got promoted because they did more work. Yes, sometimes people get promoted and it's wrong, right? But what I like to say, and this is just obviously true, is that there are fundamental and there are marginal diffs, right? Fundamentally, like on the margins, you can be up one job placement or minus one job placement, you know, and then you can work hard and kind of correct, but you're gonna regress towards mean, okay? What regress towards mean means is over time, you're generally gonna end up close to where you're quote unquote supposed to be. There is a difference. I mean, I hope most people know this is true, between like the corporate executive and the corporate vice president and the corporate director and the corporate upper manager and the corporate middle manager and the corporate, you know, team lead and the corporate engineer. There is a difference between those people. There is a capacity difference. You know, everyone works hard, but on average, the rich people are going to work harder, the rich people are going to contribute more, and the rich people are going to be more capable. And as a reward for all of the value they create for society, we give them more stuff. And that is the system that has built every prosperous society that's ever existed, is we incentivize value creation. Thank you, rich people. Here's some stuff. Go create more stuff for us, and we'll give you more stuff in return, okay? That's the system we use to create all the value in the world and make the world go around and make everyone very, very happy. It's a good system. It works. So I think those are the two main arguments for why, just kind of tying everything in a knot, because it's been a longer video, much longer, is that we always are going to have discrimination. The different techniques we have for dealing with discrimination are generally going to be some kind of lottery, right? The leftist radical price cap. Anytime you hear price cap, anytime you hear market manipulation, it's going to be lottery-like. It's going to be lottery-like. So lottery, but maybe you have to show up online, or you have to have some insider knowledge, or you have to know a guy in government, or you have to, you know, whatever. But it's going to be lottery with some sprinkles on top. Or it's going to be price discrimination. Those are the two kinds of discrimination we have available. There is no magic button that is no discrimination. That's called post-scarcity. We're all working on it, but we're not there yet. So we have to deal with discrimination in the meantime. And of the two kinds, price discrimination is always better. It's better at finding people who actually need the thing more or want the thing more. It's better at creating good incentives in society for people to create more value. And it's better because rich people are just better. Yeah, I said it. No, but, you know, a lot of these guys get a lot of stuff, okay? And listen, for every millionaire fail son, there's a millionaire success dad, okay, who really wanted their millionaire fail son to get a lot of free shit, okay? So just what is the word? The argument moves up to him, okay, is that if that guy wants to have their fail son getting a lot of work done, then that's his whatever. So anyway, and just to be a little woke, the reason that I was using fail dad is because there are no, women who are in that position, okay? Because women are great mothers and they would never allow their sons to become millionaire fail sons. Respect. There we go. So, all right, that's it for this one.